I want to start this video off with a full game spoiler warning. If you've not completed Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, I suggest that you come back to this video after you have done so. In this video, I'll be covering the current strategy for the free category of Uniquely Disadvantaged. If you want more background on this guide series, I'll have a link in the description to the first video in the series where I talk more about the structure of this series. I'll also have other useful links for mechanics and other general information in the description, as well as a link to a Pastebin with a written version of the build and strategy that I'll be covering in this video. With that out of the way, let's get into the build. So this time attack does make use of equipment inheritance. I will have a link in the description to its Tyler's guide on how to perform this, but basically this is a relatively recent glitch discovery, which allows us to put almost any equipment onto any character. This also has the side effect of letting me turn Ricky's body invisible, though this has no effect on gameplay. For the build on Ricky, we're going to be running the Endless Rifle, with Electric Plus, Attack Stability, and Critical Up, as well as 2 Ether Up gems, Attack Plus from the Ether 5 frame, Initial Tension, and Quick Step. With the Initial Tension, Ricky will have a critical hit rate of 80%, which is very important since we're going to need to be hitting a lot of consecutive crits for this strategy to work. Additionally, I'm using the Endless Rifle just simply because it's the strongest weapon I can get that is not a Replica Monado. The Replicant Monados are a bit of a unique case in equipment inheritance, as after you've obtained them once, you can no longer put them on other characters. On the save file, I've already gotten all of them, so I could not put any of them on Ricky, though giving him a Replica Monado would be better than giving him the Endless Rifle. However, the Endless Rifle is strong enough for this time attack, so you don't need it if you don't have it. Next up is Rhine. We're going to be running the Atomic Driver with Attack Plus, Attack Stability, and First Attack Plus, as well as 2 Strength Up gems, Initial Tension, Agility Up, and Quick Step. Rhine's build can be optimized a bit by using Equipment Inheritance, however that requires more New Game Plus cycles, and it's not really that important as Rhine's damage is a lot less important to this strategy than Ricky's damage. And finally for melee, we're going to be running the Sun Staff with Ether Defense down, Double Attack, and Weapon Power, as well as 2 Strength Up gems, Haste from the Glory Gauntlets, Agility Up, and Quick Step. Much like Rhine, we could optimize her build a little bit by using Equipment Inheritance, but overall it's not that necessary. For arts on Ricky, we're going to be running Final Cross, Hero Time, and something to activate the central art. I'm personally using Overdrive, though Activate Monado works perfectly fine here. For Ryan, you're going to want to have Ponspector Sword Drive, as well as something to activate his talent art. What's in his talent slot and what is not doesn't really matter, but basically you just want to have no other arts on Ryan's palette other than Ponspector Sword Drive, as we don't want his AI to use anything other than it. And finally for melee, you're just going to want to have Summon Bolt. Of particular note is that you do actually want to upgrade it to level 12, as the cooldown of it does matter for this strategy. And finally, well, you can go ahead and go through the skills. As usual, I'm going to just kind of scroll over them. I'm not going to list them all out by name. You can read them and equip them yourself as you see fit. But basically, we're just trying to optimize our damage as much as possible. Additionally, because Ryan and Melia do need to hit physical arts, they are also getting skills that decrease their equipment weight and give them increased agility, so that they'll be able to more easily hit during the third wave, since we are greatly outleveled and have some pretty heavy level-based agility penalties on us for that. Finally for melee, we are using Ricky's skill that decreases cooldown at night. Once again, as I said earlier, the Summon Bolt cooldown is very important because we do need to get up a second Summon Bolt before the end of the time attack. And because of that, it's just best to have her have as much cooldown as possible so they'll be ready when we need it. With all that out of the way though, let's go ahead and get into the video review section of this video. So in this section, we're going to be talking through my current PB as of the time of recording this video, and kind of just talking through the strategy as it happens. So to start off, we're going to run up so that we're within range to Final Cross all 3 enemies, and then use Hero Time followed by Final Cross. If we get the Ether Up buff from Hero Time, it will actually save a decent amount of time over the course of all 3 waves, so we definitely want to get that. Unfortunately, this means that it's about a 1 in 5 chance of actually getting a attempt out of this first little bit, but overall it's not too terrible in terms of RNG. Additionally, we're going to want to briefly focus our allies on the enemy so that Melia will use her summon bolt right away, and then call them back to our side so that Ryan won't run forward and use his Pawn Spectre Sword Drive yet, as I was trying to save that for wave 3. We can go ahead and watch this now. So you can see I run forward, and then I use Hear Time followed by Overdrive to activate my Talon Art, which is Final Cross. I get the Ether Up buff from Melee using Summon Bolt over here, and I call my allies to my side so that Ryan will not run forward. I get the Ether Up buff from Hear Time, and this clears wave 1. So for wave 2, I personally like to target onto Territorial Art Bar. It does not matter at all which of the two goggles you target onto, though, and I will wait for the enemies to die. We're going to want to run to right about here on the arena, which is close enough to be able to hit both of the goggles with a Final Cross. If we get enough critical hits, this will kill both of them in a single art. Additionally, just before the third hit of Final Cross, we're going to want to focus our allies on the... I guess I should back up a second. After we use Final Cross, we're going to want to call our allies to our side with the Come to Me command. And then just before the third hit lands, we're going to want to focus our allies so that Melee will use Summon Bolt again. This is why it was so important that we minimize the cooldown of Summon Bolt, as we need it to be off cooldown already. So we'll run forward, use Final Cross, call our allies to our side, and right about here, right as the third hit's about to go, you want to focus your allies. Melia will use Summon Bolt, and this will essentially prevent Melia from putting a weapon away between waves 2 and 3. I'll have a video linked in the description that kind of explains this in a bit more detail, but this allows us to do this, which is target onto Abacy and instantly use Final Cross, and as you can see, Melia will immediately run over and go and auto-attack him to inflict Ether Defense down. Additionally, Ryan will run up and use Pawn Spectre Sword Drive, and this will just be enough damage to very quickly clear wave 3. So without all that out of the way, that's about all that there is to this strategy, so I'll go ahead and just let this play out. But I do hope that you enjoyed and found this helpful if you wanted to do this time attack yourself, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.